So, what would the panel say? Or if I start with Maria, what would you say is the major challenges in achieving more sustainable food systems?
We do need to change from monocultures, from heavy pesticide use, etc., and to heavy fertilization also, and build the systems more in more friendly towards the surrounding ecosystems, and that will have the consequence that we have to realize that we have to pay more for our food in order to be able to change to more diversity in our systems. So that is one. There are a number of others.
More diversity into our systems. Well, what do you say, Johannes, about that and about the challenges?
I think one of the most important things I recognize is that we start talking about. Because when we think some years back, we talked about agriculture, we talked about food, but we did not talk about agro-food systems. So I think the circumstance that you use now the word sustainable food systems is indicating that we are aware of a problem.
And the local actors, Rebecka and Annika, what do you say about this huge question?
So if the question is still what is the most pertaining issue for achieving sustainable food systems, I would say that it's the meat-norm, köttnormen. In a world with an expanding population, we need to find a diversity of protein sources in order to liberate land for carbon sequestration, wildlife, or for production of biofuel. So I think that is the most important issue, that we need to question the meat norm.
I can add that just in general, achieving a more sustainable food system will not be possible without achieving a more sustainable society. So you can't disconnect, obviously, the food system from the rest of all the sectors of society, because it's part of it. It's the food system, it's part of the macroeconomic political system, so you can't pick the food system out and say, okay, let's make this sustainable at least, and then we'll deal with the rest. It's not possible. It's all interconnected. So the reality in which the farmer lives, for example, or I as a consumer, we are part of a reality, and we live our lives we have lifestyles, we have practices that we do as a result of a lot of different things.
It's a complex issue. For example, we have one tool that is public procurement. So the communality is one of the wonderful examples. And Copenhagen, where my university is, will go in 2020 for 100% organic public procurement. So public procurement is the possibility to interfere, to intervene, to change something. But if we say we go 100% organic, are we really going more sustainable? This is not so easy. If we replace just the food and keep our diets, I think we're doing something wrong, because we just eat chicken wings, Bio Coke, chips, but there's something more to do. And changing diets, this is a political issue since decades. And the politicians, they came up with the recommendations. We have national nutritional societies going for recommendations. They failed. So this is a complex issue. And now we want to bring us and the people not only to do the recommendations according to nutrition, but also doing the recommendations according to environment. This is even more a task, and a complex one, because we eat mango, we eat apples from Argentina when I go in the shops, and they are organic. So just going organic is also not enough. We have to combine that with local or regional. Should we just go for local food and seasonal food? Definitely I don't want to do. I want to eat tapas, I want to eat mango, I want to eat bananas, why not? And these cashew nuts. Should we avoid cashew nuts because they are coming from Africa? So you see, it's not so easy just to say, yes, we have that tool and that will be successful. No, sorry, it's not.
Synergies and conflicts in achieving sustainable food systems, because there are a lot of course, conflicts. What would you say on that topic? What are the big ones?
You can't answer what is the right choice or between different sustainability goals. You come to values in the end. Mm-hmm. So that is an obvious conflict, I would say, with animal welfare and some of the environmental impacts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rebecka.
And then there are some goal conflicts within, for example, environmental, as we discussed a little bit before lunch. I think also that if you just look at the climate emission issue in the environmental aspect of everything that's supposed to be sustainable, you might come to different answers than if you look at biodiversity issues from the same production, for example. So that's also important to take account of.
And more, we can see the new innovative products are high-processed food, ultra-processed food sometimes. And this is a development in organic, going more and more conventional. Why? Because the consumer is asking and you can gain higher price with processed food than with raw food. That is one in organic. So what does it mean for health? That is not so easy to answer, but we know, and that's what I showed today, ultra-processed food with more salt, more sugar, more fat is not healthy.
Many different ways to make you do the right thing apart from information. We can look at smoking, what a society did with smoking. We have huge taxes, it's expensive, it's prohibited, you can't buy it anywhere, you have to be 18 years old, you can't smoke in restaurants, you can't smoke in public places. Imagine you did that for a certain type of food that was very damaging. It was very expensive. You have to go to a counter in a special shop to buy it, where it was written on the package, this thing, sausages are as cancer contributing as smoke, as cigarette smoke actually. Imagine if you wanted to buy sausages, you have to go to a special counter, show that you're 18, show your ID. It was horrendously expensive. You couldn't eat them in a public place. I mean, certainly you would certainly change behavior somehow.
There is a paper from Les Levidoff. He's from Open University in London. And they published a paper comparing the paradigms in European bioeconomy. And they found two paradigms. One is the paradigms of conventional food production, and one they identified as a paradigm in organic. What is the difference? The difference is that in the conventional food production, it's following the principle of decomposability. So decompose. Take the material from the field, cut it, destroy it, and rearrange it. Then you can get money out of it. And you can get the taste you want, you can manipulate it. They call it the main dominant paradigm of food processing today. Versus the organic is following the paradigm of integrity. Leave the food as it is and bring it with gentle processing methods to the consumer. And that's interesting that we have to go up to look that we have two paradigms and we have to check what we want to follow in organic. Should we go towards conventionalization to meet the consumer's interest, to decompose things and then rearrange and then put salt and some additives on that, or do it with high pressure and so on? Or do we want to follow the integrity paradigm? That is a paradigmatic decision we have to take.
Let's have that in mind when we end this then. We say thank you very much to the panel.